That's what our job is as traffic units here. We work fatal and serious injury crashes, and so far I've worked 7 of them this year. So you sitting on the side of the road doing whatever you're doing, huh?
So, as it is, it's private property. I don't necessarily care as much that you were looking at it. I find it a little weird that you duck down behind the car, you're looking at it a little close to the license plates.
Welcome to Mr. White, the place where real encounters between law enforcement and the people unfold before your eyes. A hot, humid night in Pooler, a fast-growing town in eastern Georgia, ranked among the top expanding areas in the American South. In the shadows of a Walmart parking lot, lined with surveillance cameras, dim lighting, and unmarked patrol cars, one citizen steps into the center of authority. No weapon, no violation, just a glance, a question, and from there, everything ignites. When a police officer demands ID without citing a legal violation, a seemingly harmless moment escalates into a high-stakes test of legal knowledge and personal resolve. This isn't just a conversation, it's a bold stand for civil rights in everyday America. Our subject, a cross-country driver with a sharp eye and a deep understanding of constitutional protections, refuses to back down. The encounter is captured unfiltered by Matthew Spaccarelli, whose powerful civil rights videos have reached millions. Visit Matthew Spaccarelli's official channel for the full story. And if you believe that legal knowledge is the most powerful weapon in modern society, subscribe to Mr. White now and drop a comment with W if you stand for the right to say no.
How you doing, sir? You okay?
Yeah, doing good.
Oh, something wrong with the headlights on your car?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
They kept flashing.
Yeah.
Why are they flashing? You got your driver's license with you real quick?
Did I break the law?
Yeah.
What law did I break?
Well, you're sitting on the side of the road using your cell phone. This is not a legally marked parking space according to the state laws of the state of Georgia.
The car's
you have your
not
driver's
running.
license, please, sir? Driver's license, please, sir.
Yeah, but this isn't a traffic
Listen
stop.
to me. It is now. I will not ask you again. Please produce your driver's license.
I didn't break the law.
Sir, listen to me.
I'm parked.
Obviously, there's something wrong with this car. It's got some defective equipment. So it's unsafe to be on the roadway. Okay? And you're from California? So let me ask you about them headlights. What's going on with the headlights? Is there something wrong with the car, or you just like flashing your headlights?
I'm sorry, I'm gonna exercise my Fifth Amendment right.
Okay.
And my Sixth.
You can step out of the car, we can go to jail, you post a bond. Come on. You have a California license, which means I cannot release you in lieu of bail. So you'll have to go to the sheriff's office, post a cash bond, okay?
Okay, how much is that?
I don't know. How much ever the traffic tickets are for?
Whoever.
Okay. The rental car? Step back here.
Can I button my hand?
Just step back. You got anything on you? Any guns, knives, anything like that?
I got nothing on me.
Okay. You mind if I pat you down real quick?
You want to step over here?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You're out of the road.
Where do you live?
Sir?
Where do you live?
Yeah, I wanted to exercise my right to an attorney.
Oh, so you don't want to tell me where you live?
I gave you my
I'm
identification.
asking, do you live locally?
I gave you my identification.
Listen to me. I understand you're from California, so I'm trying to help you out here. You understand what I'm trying to tell you is that if you don't provide information that I ask you as far as like an address, a local address, that is obstruction. I do not want to charge you with such as that. Right now, you're looking at a traffic offense.
Yeah, I mean, you're already taking me to jail for a traffic offense.
I'm not taking you to jail. I'm taking you to the jail because you got to post a bond because you're from California, and I can't release you in lieu of bail. Get what I'm saying?
I can't get a traffic citation and go to
No,
court?
sir. Not in not because you have a California driver's license. Okay. Do you have a Georgia one or any other state? So the problem is that California is not part of the license compact.
No, it is.
No, it's not.
It's got a reciprocal agreement
No, it does not.
with Georgia.
No, it does not.
Because when I got the California license, any violation I had on my Georgia license showed up on the California.
Sure, it'll show up, but it's not part of the reciprocal agreements for the compacts.
It is.
It is not.
Okay. Well,
Are you in law enforcement? No, I'm just trying to tell you there are 6 states that are not part of the compact for the driver's license. And California, this happens to be one of them. Really don't want to do it, but you know, you kind of playing hardball with me here, and I know what you listen. I know what you're doing,
I'm on
but
the side of the road.
No, listen
Park
to me.
legally.
Let's talk.
I don't want to talk.
13 hours. So the problem is that I know what you're trying to do, but the problem is that it's illegal in the state of Georgia.
What's illegal?
Defective equipment, which there's something wrong with the car, obviously, because the headlights keep flashing. I've had multiple people stop us and tell us that your headlights are flashing.
If you do an inspection on it, I mean,
Would you really like me to do an inspection on that vehicle?
it's fine with me. It's not mine.
Oh, it is. You're in
rental.
possession of it.
But you
So
say
anything I
defective
find wrong with it,
There's nothing defective.
anything I find wrong with that car is yours. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not understanding here. Well, I know what you're trying to do. You're sitting here trying to warn motorists that somebody's down working traffic enforcement. And why we're doing that is to stop people from dying on the highways of this state, okay? That's what our job is as traffic units here. We work fatal and serious injury crashes, and so far I've worked 7 of them this year. You understand what it's like to see somebody die inside of a car crash? Yeah. Okay. That's why we're out here doing traffic enforcement. You understand? So, you sitting on the side of the road, doing whatever you're doing, huh?
Slowing people down?
Oh, you slowing people down?
I'm not saying that.
You're breaking the laws of the state of Georgia.
You're telling me that I'm doing something. Let's assume what you're saying is correct. Would that cause people to slow down their driving?
I have no idea. You're flashing your headlights at them. Maybe you're scaring them. Maybe you're distracted. Maybe they, instead of watching the roadway when you flash your lights, maybe they're looking over at you. So you're making people take their eyes off the roadway. So you're creating a hazard. Correct? You don't think so?
No. Okay. Watching a YouTube video.
All right. So here's the deal. I'm just going to write you the tickets. I don't feel like taking you to the jail because I'm not one of them people that likes to do stuff like that. And I mean, it's not something that I want to do. I wish California would try to get their stuff together and become part of the compact. Or if you live here, do you live here now?
I'll show up for court. You read the ticket, I'll show up.
Okay. All right. Have a seat back in your car. You know that. You don't have a local address, right?
The information I gave you is correct. Would it be okay to wait right here? Would it just be okay to wait right here? My back is kind of bothering me a little bit. Court for this in Springfield? Where's the court for this in Springfield? A traffic ticket.
You write a citation, it's usually the state court.
So if he writes a ticket, it's not in Springfield, or it is? Like, where's the courthouse? Okay. So the court for this ticket would be Springfield. I didn't mean the city, I meant like the courthouse. Okay. I didn't know where the courthouse was. Here? 2 days? I travel all over the country. I have houses all over the No, houses that I live in. Both. So 2 days ago I was in New Orleans. What was that? Oh, it's hot and humid. Killed me. It was really bad. Before that I was in Austin. Just a few days before that. Next week I'll be in Charlotte, then Dover, Delaware, then New Hampshire, then Detroit. If I have it right, then Denver, then Salt Lake City. Then I think it's Sonoma, Vegas, Phoenix, back to Los Angeles. 17th of November. Is that month?
The 17th of November when the triple, I believe, somewhere around.
A lot of driving.
It is. It's a lot of driving. But, you know, he asked me where I live. How do you answer that question? What if you receive it in two locations?
Primary bill.
Online. What was that? Right. And that's, you know, that's what I said, do you live locally? Well, do I have a house locally is the question, or do I live locally? I do have a house locally, but I don't live locally. Like, how do you answer the question? Without lying, or being deceitful, or, do you know what I mean? How do you answer it? Well, that's... Well, I'd rather vote here, you know, but it's just a hard question to answer when you're not in any one location for a long period of time, you know what I mean? Without trying to sound fishy, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Los Angeles, that's the primary residence. Spend most of your time there.
I would say, if you're just talking about time, I would say most of my time is spent there, for sure. You know, but do I have a house here and vehicles here and insurance here? I do. Do I have a house in California and vehicles there and insurance there? Yes. 2 separate policies. State Farm out here, AAA out there. You know, so the majority of my mail gets sent to California, but I just went through the mail that I get here. And out of 4 houses that I have here, the tax assessor sent 3 of the tax bills to the California address and 1 to this address. Which, when I went there and said, send it all to Cali, I want it all going to Cali, because that's the most reliable place where I'm there the most. Why did they forget 1? Luckily, there's a mortgage for that one, and the taxes are included in that too. But, you know what I mean? It's difficult when the answer is not so clear. You know what I'm saying, right?
You see yourself as being tied down to any one place at any one time.
Well, no, work is the travel. And
Travel is work. You're making these trips around the country, so you never any one place at any one given time.
right, where I started that tour, I started out of California and had to go to Wisconsin, and went to Wisconsin to Sturgis to do Bike Week, Sturgis to Denver, switched trucks, Denver to Austin, Austin to New Orleans, New Orleans to Charlotte. So to stop in between Charlotte and here, I happen to have a house here. You know, where the tour will end, it will be LA, is where again, where I'll be stopping.
Listen, I'm not writing tickets. I just need you to do the right thing, okay?
Okay?
I wrote you a warning.
Okay?
I know what you're trying to do, and I get it, but I got a job to do too. You got me?
I got you.
And I gotta slow cars down.
I got you.
And I know what you're saying by flashing lights, if it's slowing cars down. Yes, it may, but it's also a distraction. So, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So, I just can't in my good mind write you a ticket for that. But just be mindful that that's technically defective equipment. State of Georgia, if something's wrong with the headlights and they keep flashing, you know what I'm saying? And I get it, it's a rental car and you can say that it's not under your whatever, but it is.
Tell me when the traffic stop is over. So that
you want to go?
It's over?
Yeah.
I'm free to go?
Yeah.
Okay, sir, just so you know, like, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I completely do.
Right.
So there's a consensual
Okay, I
conversation
got you.
now, right?
Yep. You want me to keep the video recording, or you want me to stop it?
It doesn't matter.
I mean, because it's over, so I can stop it, or you keep it up.
I don't care.
Okay.
On a sweltering night in Effingham, Georgia, a county known for its strict patrol routes, a driver from California was pulled over for flashing headlights. No yelling, no panic. He invoked his Fifth Amendment rights and remained completely silent. The lesson is clear. If there is no reasonable suspicion of a crime, you have the right to remain silent and refuse to present your ID. Stay calm, record everything, and never incriminate yourself. This is a citizen who knows the law and force the police to back down. Up next, in the second video, tension rises as another citizen is ordered off a Walmart parking lot simply for observing a police car.
No. That's a license plate, were you? Got a problem with that.
What was that?
I was just curious. You're ducking down behind it. Looked like you were touching something.
I was looking at the license plate.
Any reason why? No.
Looking at the license plate. It's hard to see at night. And it's in a shadow, so I was looking at the license plate. See what kind of stickers they had on it. Yeah, I just find it interesting that it's parked here for a couple days now.
Well, my guy's inside. Scared to leave.
No, the security officer said it was broke down and it had been here for a couple of days.
What security officer?
The one right in front of the store.
Get out.
I mean, that's what she told me. But I mean, like, if it's in service, don't you usually have a computer or something in it, or?
Not necessarily.
Well, that's what I was looking at. It's like she told me it was broken down, and you know, I was wondering because there's a parking spot right there for law enforcement, and she said it was broken down. So, and I've been here for a couple of days, and somebody stops by every now and then. Lady in the front with the blue shirt, she's the one that said it was broke down. Can I ask you another question?
Depends.
Why did you become a cop? What was the main motivation?
Protect, serve, actually help out the businesses.
Protect, serve, help out the businesses, help people, right? When's the last time you did that?
Pretty much every single day around here.
Like how? Can you give me an example of a way that you, like I'll give you an example of the way I can contribute to the community. I was at a city council meeting in Lincoln,
Okay.
and I read the agendas before they have the meetings, and there was a code violation, like a nuisance code in somebody's house. And it was down the street from my house, so I drove by and took a look at it just to see what kind of a nuisance there was. And to me, it didn't seem like that bad. The guy doing construction on his own. So I went to the city council meeting where they had that thing. And I actually saw the guy in his porch, so I took some time to talk to him. I said, hey, what's going on? Like, what happened? I mean, what's the deal? He's telling me a neighbor behind his house, a really nice house. His house he bought. I didn't say that to him, but you know what I mean? It was like he was fixing up like a dilapidated car. He was military, and he was deployed, and he had to come back, and his wife, they had a little baby, and just talking to the guy, like you could tell, like the house was in a mess. He had some like wood and stuff with a tarp over it. He was trying to like fix up the house. So I go to the city council meeting, and the wife is crying. They're gonna get fined $460, and they didn't have the money. So I got up to speak on his behalf. Because I thought like a guy that's actually doing construction trying to work out. So he was making a mess of it. It wasn't like near trash and broken down cars jack stands. You know what I'm talking about? So after I spoke and said, look guys, you know, I've been here for 5 years, like how did you get that break? They decided to levy the fines, and the girl's crying and they're trying to figure out how to pay and how to make a payment plan or something like that. So the city lady was saying that they can only take a maximum of 2 separate payments, so it has to be half and then half. That's the only option that the then like today, like this, like I'm just a guy standing here. And you know what I mean? I'm just, and honestly, I'm not sitting there. Like, I just came to look for some rubbing. I suppose that's all it was. I got here 3 minutes. And I say, I'm just gonna finish a cigarette before I get in my car. It takes about 15 minutes to finish. I'm just looking at this.
Well, so again, it comes back to, I don't know you, you don't know me, hang on, I'd let you speak. They said you're asking some questions about, the blue lights, kind of the security system, and again, I let you talk, I told you my side. So, as it is, it's private property. I don't necessarily care as much that you were looking at it. I find it a little weird that you got down behind the car, you're looking at a little close to license plates. We've had license plate thefts in the past. Again,
I'm trying to put your mind
I'm trying to let you know my side. They asked me to come over here. They said it's making them feel uneasy and they want you to leave the property. So I have to tell you, you have to leave the property.
what I ask you is so you know, is I travel all over the country for work. I'm a truck driver when I have work. I do mobile parking. Every time I see those little things in my life, it used to be a very, very bad neighborhood. I didn't think it was like a bad neighborhood. So we know in Lincoln at the Walmart, they don't have those problems. And there's a lot of different Walmarts. And I always tell my friends, like, hey, you like working like in that neighborhood and not leave anything in your car that can be broken into. So I was asking her if they had a lot of problems with breaking into cars and things like that. I wouldn't leave the phone visible. You know what I mean? But is this
I do have to ask you to leave it because it's kind of
this area worse than other areas?
I think it's about the same as
About the same.
Okay. Thank you. You got your ID with you by any chance? Sure. Can I get it from you?
No,
Why not?
I didn't do anything wrong.
That's okay. What you doing on the property today? Because they said you've been hanging around a little bit, asking a lot of questions.
I pulled in here to see if they had any alcohol, but I pulled in here at 8:33,
Uh-huh.
and they were closed. So I wanted to have a cigarette before getting in my car because I don't smoke in my car. So what I was looking at here is there's no number on this police car, but this one has a number, like 68. I was wondering what the difference is, like why some cars run numbers and some cars don't run numbers.
Okay.
Just curious. And then I was looking at the sticker. Like, you guys don't have registration stickers because you have the city government or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was just looking at the differences. But,
Okay.
I mean, I didn't break any law. Nobody asked me to leave.
Well, actually,
Smoking
that's why I'm
cigarette.
back over here now.
But
Management's a little bit worried about you, and they're not sure exactly what's going on. You're asking a lot of questions about their security protocol. That's just the information they're passing to me. So, as it is right now, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to proceed to your vehicle and exit the property.
No problem.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask you another question?
Depends.
Why did you become a cop? What was
Well-
the main motivation?
Protect, serve, actually help out the
Protect,
businesses.
serve, help out the businesses, help
Yeah.
people, right?
Mhm.
When's the last time you did that?
Pretty much every single day that I'm here.
Like how? Can you give me an example of a way that you've, like I'll give you an example of the way I contributed to the community. I was at a city council meeting in Lincoln,
Okay.
and I read the agendas before they have the meetings.
Uh-huh.
And there was a code violation, like a nuisance code, somebody's house. And it was down the street from my house, so I drove by and took a look at it just to see what kind of a nuisance there was. And to me, it didn't seem like it was that bad. It was a guy doing construction on his own home. So I went to the city council meeting where they had that thing. And I actually saw the guy on his porch, so I took some time to talk to him and say, hey, what's going on? Like, what happened? I mean, what's the deal? He was telling me a neighbor behind his house had a really nice house. His house he bought, it was a shit home. I didn't say that to him, but you know what I mean? It was like he was fixing up a dilapidated property. He was military. And he was deployed, and he had to come back, and his wife, they had a little baby. And just talking to the guy, like, you could tell, like, the house wasn't a mess. He had some, like, wood and stuff with a tarp over it.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to, like, fix up the house. So I go to the city council meeting, and the wife is crying because they're going to get fined $260.
Okay.
And they didn't have the money. So I got up to speak on his behalf because I thought, like, like a guy that's actually doing construction, trying to help the house. Like, he was making an effort. It wasn't like he had trash and broken down cars and cars on, jack stands. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So after I spoke and said, look, guys, there's bigger fish to fry here, like, kind of just try to give the guy a break a little bit. And they decided to levy the fines, and the girl's crying, and they're trying to figure out how to pay and how to make a payment plan or something like that. So the city lady was saying that they can only take a maximum of 2 separate payments, so it has to be half and then half. That's the only option that the city had. And they were taking all this time to debate it, and I'm like, Mr. Mayor. He's like, oh, just 1 second. I'm like, no, I can help the situation. I'm like, I'll write a check. I had some extra money, and I'm like, let me just pay their fine for it. Because the guy was actually helping. You know what I mean? He wasn't doing anything. Like, it wasn't a nuisance. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, a neighbor complained, and if he had the money to build a fence, he could have just built a fence. The neighbor wouldn't see any of his yard, and I think the situation would have been over. But he didn't have that kind of money. So, I just paid the fee, and I actually wrote a check there that night and gave it to the city and done, and he said thank you and left, and it made me feel good. I told my friend the story, and do you know what Venmo is? Like that payment app? So I told my friend the story. He Venmo'd me half the money. It's like, you did a good thing, you helped them out, the lady's crying, and, you try to help a service member and stuff like that. Then, today, like this, I'm just a guy standing here.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean? I'm just... And honestly, I don't have to say what I'm doing. I just came to look for some rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol. That's all I was looking for. And I got here 3 minutes late. And then I say, hey, I'm just going to finish a cigarette before I get in my car. It takes about 15 minutes to smoke one of these. I'm just looking at the police cars.
Yep. Well, so, again, it comes back to, I don't know you, you don't know me. We can hang on, I let you speak. They said you asked them some questions about, the blue lights, kind of their security systems, a little bit of protocol. And, hey, again, I let you talk. I'm telling you my side. So, as it is, it's private property. I don't necessarily care as much that you were looking at it. I find it a little weird that you duck down behind the car. You're looking at it a little closer to the license plates. We've had license plate thefts in the past.
I can only see out of one eye.
Again,
I'm just trying to put your mind
and I'm trying to let you know my side.
Yeah.
They asked me to come over here. They said that you're making them feel uneasy, and they want you to leave the property. So I have to tell you have to leave the property.
Okay. So what I asked her, just so you know, is I travel all over the country for work. I'm a truck driver when I have work. I do mobile marketing promotions. And every time I see those little things with the blue lights, it's usually a very, very bad neighborhood. I didn't think Puna was like a bad neighborhood.
I don't think it is either.
So we don't, in Rincon, at the Walmart, they don't have those lights. And at a lot of different Walmarts, I see those, and I always tell my friends, I'm like, hey, if you see the blue lights in the parking lot, you're probably in a bad neighborhood and you want to not leave anything in your car that could be broken into or stolen. So I was asking her if they had a lot of problem with people breaking into cars and things like that, because I wouldn't leave a phone visible. Do you know what I mean?
I wouldn't leave anything valuable in your car. But at the same time, I do have to ask you to leave because it's kind of getting past that time.
Is this area worse than other areas?
I think it's about the same as no matter where you go. Yeah. Have a good day.
Thank you for watching this video to the end here on the Mr. White channel in the quiet, humid parking lot of a Walmart in Pooler, Georgia, a rapidly growing town where the population has doubled in just over a decade. An ordinary citizen took a stand, not with shouting, not with aggression, but with a solid understanding of the law. He broke no rules, caused no disturbance. He simply observed and asked questions, and that alone was enough to be asked to leave the premises. This incident highlights a fundamental truth. In a democratic society where laws exist to protect individual freedoms, asking questions cannot be grounds for suspicion or removal. If you are not reasonably suspected of committing a crime, you have the right to withhold your ID, to remain silent, and to be present in public spaces. Remember this: knowing the law is not about fighting the police, it is about protecting yourself the right way. You don't have to escalate, you don't have to argue, just stand firm, record, stay calm, assert your rights. If today's story brought value to you, make sure to subscribe to the Mr. White channel so you never miss real-world legal situations that matter. And if you stand with the citizen in this video, drop a comment with the letter W below. Knowledge is power, and you have the right to use it.